Hello, dear ones. It's Savi Ma from IllumiNature Circle and lovingawareness.org. And I'm here with another IllumiNature energy reset where I take a deep dive into my intuitive insights and bring forward source messages that help to support our soul growth and our self-care journey forward. So the last few weeks, we've been having conversations around the Great Awakening and what that means for each of us. And we've been digging a little bit deeper into various themes that help us to really come into our full awakening within ourselves. And this week, what is coming to the forefront more than anything else, over and over and over again in every dream I've been having, every conversation I've been having, the session work that I've been in with people, what keeps coming to the forefront right now for the energy that just feels super heightened is to embrace our uniqueness, to really allow our uniqueness to make itself known within us. There are parts of ourselves that we have abandoned. There are parts of ourselves that we diminish or deny or dismiss. And we do that sometimes without even thinking. We do that by way of certain controls that have been put in place around us. We do that by way of certain experiences that we may have had in our lives leading us to this point. We do it for a very huge, honestly, variety of reasons, some of them conscious and some of them not. And what keeps bubbling to the surface is for us to acknowledge our uniqueness, to reclaim all parts of our uniqueness that we may have abandoned or let go to the wayside for whatever reason, to really embrace those parts of ourselves that make us who we are. The words that we're really wanting to come forward there are those parts of us that make us seem to who? This is why I didn't want those words to come out. Make us seem weird. Make us seem crazy. Make us seem different. Make us feel like we don't blend in or fit in. Blend into what? Fit into what? This is a time, if we're in this period, and we are, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, this time of great awakening, it's time for us to fully acknowledge our uniqueness, to let our freak flag fly, as they say. And when we do this, when we allow our uniqueness, all those aspects and parts of ourselves that we question how they'll be received by others, how they'll be received by society, how they'll fit into the social norms. When we question those parts of ourselves and we diminish those parts of ourselves because we don't know how they'll fit in, and we want so much to blend in maybe, or fit in, or just simply belong, but belong to what? These are the questions that continue to rise up. What is it that we are trying so hard to fit into? What is it that we're trying so hard to blend with? And why? This is really the question. And the part of ourselves that bubbles up from underneath all the aspects of our uniqueness, those are the aspects that really make us shine. We are meant to be unique beings. We are not meant to all be the same. There have been experiences upon experiences upon experiences across the landscape of humanity that have told us that we need to be a certain way. Choose this, fit in like this, blend like that, do this and then you will be accepted. Do this and you will be accepted. If you choose that, you won't be accepted. And somehow we have allowed ourselves as a human family to subscribe to these controls that who is other anyway, that some other has put in place for us to fit into containers that were never ours in the first place. I believe that the reason that this is coming up so strong is it is a part of the Great Awakening. We were not meant to come here and be a cookie cutter society. We are not meant to come here and everyone think and do and act and believe in the same way. Our uniqueness is what makes us an amazing human family. And that's every aspect of our uniqueness. And if we can begin to accept and embrace our uniqueness, imagine the world that opens up to us. Imagine the potentials and the possibilities that really reveal themselves to us. It's amazing. It is amazing. In my session work with people, especially lately, like I said, this is really a theme lately. What continues to rise up is people's questioning of if it is okay to be all of who they really are. And it's ingrained so deeply, this desire to fit into a social norm, to be accepted by society. And yet, at the end of the day, we lie ourselves down to go to sleep at night, and we don't feel as though we've been able to really be who we are. We feel like we've denied ourselves. And so then there's an internal struggle that starts to happen where we really feel like we want to walk forward and we want to create differently, but we've created these constructs and constraints around ourselves. And now there's a whole circle of our human family that knows us, that has put us into that container also. And well, this is who they know me to be. So how can I be more of who I believe I really am? How can I allow more of my uniqueness, my own soul growth to develop and blossom and shine forth when it seems like everyone outside of me has already made up their minds and I feel like I just have to continue to conform to the idea of how others perceive me? I just know that as you're hearing these words, at one time or another in your life, and maybe right now, you can relate with what I'm saying. Where we know that there's more that we want to be, where we feel our uniqueness coming forward and evolving in such a way that's encouraging us to actively shift and change our life. And sometimes we just put a stopper on that. We put up a boundary on ourselves that disallows our evolution and our growth. No one ever said that we were to come into this life and have everything laid out before us, that we were supposed to subscribe to every pattern, every habit, every belief that someone put before us without ever questioning any of that. And we were just supposed to be in that subscription, follow those rules, color inside the lines. I've never subscribed to that. It's never been easy for me to say, oh, okay, that's how they do it, so I should do it just like that. I've always been the person who's questioned that. It doesn't mean that it's always been easy for me to go my own way, to express my uniqueness in every situation. I'm human too. I still deal with that. As crazy as I know I am, people who are in session work with me, they know I subscribe to my own version of crazy. I'm happy with my version of weird and my version of crazy. I am fully accepting I couldn't do this work if I didn't allow what other people deem as that's pretty weird, Savi. If I allowed that to bother me, I wouldn't be able to open to this intuitive flow and have the connection that I have to allow these downloads and streams of higher consciousness come through for all of us to experience and listen to and receive into our hearts. There were times in my growing up years where I did do that. I did diminish it some. But I noticed that I have a lot more fun and I feel a lot more fulfilled when I allow myself to really explore and expand into my intuitive nature, my sensitivities, my intuitive creative gifts. Life shows up for me in magical ways when I do that. And as soon as I turn that faucet off a little bit, or at least dial it back, because I feel like, well, I should probably fit into this more rigid shape that somebody is presenting here. Maybe I need to dial in the crazy just a little bit, dial it back, reel it in. I don't enjoy life. I don't enjoy creating. I don't feel free. I don't feel liberated. I don't feel frisky. And I like feeling free, liberated, and frisky. I like knowing that I don't have to be the same person today as I was yesterday, and I certainly can allow myself to continue to change, grow, evolve, expand, unfold as every day that I'm blessed to be in this life moves forward, unfolding. I can allow that, and I want to allow that. I give myself full permission. And part of my uniqueness is continuing to express that permission, to share that permission that I give myself with the world, so that by way of that, maybe you listening, maybe anyone listening might also say, hey, wait a minute. I've been waiting for someone else to give me permission to be who I am. Why am I doing that? I have all the permission I've ever needed. My permission comes from within me, as does my validation. That's a huge one, isn't it? So many times we look outside of ourselves for validation. We know we don't need it. Most of us, especially if you're listening to these messages, you're already at a space in your life where you're evolved and awake enough in your consciousness that you know that we don't really need validation outside of ourselves. And yet, we all can get caught in that spin of, what do you think? Do you agree with this? Validate me. Could you validate me, please? And instead, where we really receive the most joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment is in our own validation from the inside out. Does it feel good to be validated by another sometimes? Does it feel good to feel the confirming embrace of another? Absolutely, it does, 100%. But if we lean on that completely, if we need that in order to feel like we're okay, that's when it gets to be a really slippery slope. It gets to be kind of tricky. And we really have to start inquiring and asking ourselves, why are we allowing that to be a thing? Why are we externalizing our need for validation? The validating force that we need lives and breathes within us as the source nature of who and what we really are. That validating force is continuously connected to our infinite intelligence, to all that is, to the source nature of who and what we really are. That, if I need to seek validation, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to that place within myself that knows who I really am and is always in loving support of who and what I really am. So I guess this message this week, it is really to encourage us to embrace ourselves so fully that we feel bold and courageous in allowing ourselves to let our uniqueness shine without apology. And I know that sometimes this can be challenging depending on the level of uniqueness that we're talking about. There are so many things in this world that unfortunately fall into these areas where we aren't as accepted or as embraced as we should be, as we deserve, as we are worthy of. And I'm saying to you now, dear hearts, and this comes directly from Source, our uniqueness is on purpose. We're born from oneness consciousness. That's a big, big, big umbrella. We are born of oneness consciousness. And oneness consciousness, sometimes in spiritual or high consciousness circles, I feel like it gets a little bit diluted, watered down, or it doesn't have the fullness of what it's really meant to be. It gets sort of perceived as, well, first of all, it can be a very slippery slope into bypassing. We can say, I'm just rising above everything and I'm completely immersed in oneness consciousness. I am connected with all and all is connected with me. And therefore, I know who I am. And we can vibrate at that level. And while all of the words that I just said are very true, they're leaving out the part where we are connected here in this human nature, in this human body. So yes, we are born of oneness consciousness that is all embracing, unifying, harmonizing, connected, open, receptive, trusting, allowing. Oneness consciousness is not divisive, diminishing, denying. It is oneness consciousness does not vibrate with separation or fear. Oneness consciousness is the source of our essence, and it does not equal sameness. Oneness consciousness, that's where I was going before. Sometimes oneness consciousness, people can be like, oh, well, if it's oneness consciousness or totality, then everything is same. That's not what it means. That's not what it means at all. It means the vibrational essence of oneness in its most expanded, hard to define context is the ultimate informer within us. It helps us to pave our path in light and goodness and compassion, loving kindness. Yes, but it does not make us all the same. In fact, it encourages and supports uniqueness. It completely encourages and supports uniqueness in the most beautiful ways, because in oneness consciousness, no one is excluded. No one is put aside or made to feel less than. In that way, there is full embracing, there is full equality, full equanimity, full agency, full empowerment, fully emboldened, courageous presence in the fullness of our uniqueness, completely embraced. And I have every knowing right now inside of me that this is something we're going to be continuing to talk about. This is not a one conversation kind of a topic. There's a lot that's been unpacked in the minutes that we've shared together. And I really think that this is where we need to digest. We need to take this in, me included. I listen to these messages right alongside of you. I have a context of what's bubbled up as themes, and then I sit down and the flow state just happens. And so here we are. This is what we're meant to feel into this week. We're meant to feel into the vibration, this huge umbrella of oneness consciousness. We're meant to inquire about how we've limited ourselves around that concept, and how accepting we are of something so expanded as oneness consciousness, and see where we can allow that concept, that consciousness, to become more awakened and more enlivened from within us. We're made of it. It's already there. We don't have to go get it from somewhere or something. We awaken and engage our awareness of it from within. And as we do that, as we open to this concept of oneness consciousness from within us, immediately we will feel the beauty of our greatness. We'll feel our IllumiNature springing forth, coming online fully, and we will know our uniqueness, and we will feel enlivened by our uniqueness, and we will start to consider, where have I allowed fear to keep me apart from all of who I am? Have I subscribed to some sort of separation that doesn't even exist? We can use distinction by way of our uniqueness, yes, but we do not separate or divide. In the realm of oneness consciousness, we embrace, we include, we expand. There is limitless potential, limitless possibilities in the realms of oneness consciousness, in the realms of embracing our uniqueness. So this is me in the uniqueness of who and what I am, in all my crazy weirdness, reaching out to all of you who are listening today And every day forward, taking this message into your hearts. This is me saying to you, I've given myself permission to be all of who and what I really am. I've given myself permission to grow, to expand, to change, to shift, to evolve, and transform. And I'm inviting you to do the same for yourself. I can't give you permission. You don't need my permission. You don't need anyone else's permission. The ability to give yourself permission lies within. No one and no thing can stop you. And anyone who stands in your path and tries to stop you, stand and face them face to face, eye to eye, and say the truth that lives within you cannot be put asunder. The light that lives within you is meant to shine. And the light of who and what you really are knows love, knows expansion, knows union, unity, harmony, like nothing else. And if there's a belief for you to hold fast, a belief for you to hold fast to, it's that. It's that belief, repatterning ourselves to know the expanded nature that we are meant to be, to know that our uniqueness is our ability to thrive and love this life that we're living. Our uniqueness is meant to be lived forward. This is how we create heaven on earth. And this is a key to how we create this human family reality forward. It feels really big, like big in a, whoa, that feels like so powerful. It makes me feel so joyful inside to deliver a message like this today. And does that mean that there's going to be complete easy-peasy grace and ease around it, and that, we're not going to have any challenges around it? I mean, it probably doesn't mean that. But doesn't it feel good to claim your uniqueness? Doesn't it feel good to give yourself permission? And by way of that, validating that you know who you are, that you're worthy, that you are valued, that we're worthy of everything that makes us unique. And that everything that makes us unique is what will make this world so much more amazing than it already is. So just dive in, give yourselves permission, tap, tap, tap on your hearts to bring yourself awake, aware, and alive. This really does work, by the way. It's one of my crazy things that I invite people to do. It works. I don't know why. It just does. Tap, tap, tap with your fingertips at your heart center. It engages you. It engages your remembering. It engages you knowing the essence of who and what you really are. Be your uniqueness. No apologies. No shrinking. The time has come. And here we have it. Another episode of The Great Awakening. I love sitting here receiving and sharing these messages with you. If you enjoy these IllumiNature energy resets as much as I do, and you find them to be valuable and supportive, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I was going to say, please remember to subscribe to our family. Yeah, do that too. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the like button, drop a comment below. I love to engage in your comments and your reflections. There's a little bell. Tap the bell so that you get a notification every time we have a new video. And most importantly, be who you are. Know your value. Know your worth. Live your boldness alive. In as many small or big, bold, and beautiful ways as you can every single day. It's a commitment. Some would say it's a practice. It's a way of life, and you are deserving. You are worthy, and I love you. Thank you for being here. If you would like some one-on-one time with me, session work is a lot like what we just did. We just unpack, we dig deep, we inquire, and I can help you shine light on your path so that you can find your uniqueness, so that you can find your brilliance and your joy, your purpose and your passion in life. And you can allow yourself, give yourselves permission to live it forward. I would love to be a witness to your unfolding and a steward to your evolution and your transformation. If you'd like to inquire about sessions or book a session with me, get in touch. Send me a message, comment down below. I will follow that and we will connect and make those sessions happen. And if you like this kind of support and you feel like more support like this, really deep self-inquiry, self-discovery, soul growth, self-healing, if you need resources like this that will really help you on your journey, please consider becoming a member at IllumiNature Circle inside of lovingawareness.org. There is a growing library of resources there that will really help to support your soul growth and self-healing transformation. Thank you. I love you so much, and we'll see you next time.